Over the last few years, I've put a lot of hours into Stardew Valley. And through all that time, I try to stay grounded, remembering what a beginner's experience is in the game. That's useful for all sorts of things, mostly explaining mechanics in my videos, and not losing the people who don't have hundreds of hours in the game. And this culminated in making the Beginner's Guide to Stardew Valley, where I'm going in assuming you haven't played video games before, because Stardew Valley is just that type of game. Doing the research for that video kind of changed how I explain things going forward, to make sure things are as accessible as possible. Before that, though, I made a video called Which Farm Should You Choose in Stardew Valley? You know, it's the first most impactful choice that you need to make when creating a new file. And unless you do research beforehand, you have no idea what you're getting into. So the idea was to explain the pros and cons of each farm, and then say whether I think it would be good for a beginner or not. And in the video, I concluded that the beach farm had a bad rap as a challenge farm, which was the common sentiment at the time. The 1.4 update before it gave us the wilderness farm, and every night you're attacked by monsters, so it's a farm for veterans really. And it stands to reason that the farm added in 1.5 is also for veterans. For one reason, and pretty much one reason only. You can't use sprinklers in a part of the farm. And while I asserted it may not be the easiest farm out there, but I don't think it reaches challenge territory, I've seen a lot of testimonials from beginner players saying, I started with the beach farm, and it was great. And while this may be true for any farm that they happen to choose, I think it makes it worth looking back at the beach farm with the eyes of a new player. One of the reasons I'm making this video is because I've recently gone back to play Harvest Moon 64. Yeah, I know I haven't played it yet, sorry. I cannot find my way around in that game. I felt like I was floundering about for weeks just trying to figure out the most basic mechanics, where to pick up the most basic items, things like that. And it's given me a new outlook on Stardew Valley, so let's exit our house here on the beach farm immediately. There's a path to the right. Let's just follow it. Let's see what happens. The first thing we come across is the bus stop. This is one of the most important places in the game. It's kind of your quick travel hub. You have your minecart up top, and you have the bus for going to the desert later. Not immediately important, but important to know nonetheless. Let's continue to the right. So by just basically walking in a straight line, we get to town, and the first thing you see, the hospital and the general store. This is one of my favorite parts of this game now. You head to the right and you find the most important place in the entire game. You could make it through multiple months just knowing where the general store is, buying your seeds, and planting them. Here you can also find the calendar, you can find any help wanted quests. You're introduced to a lot just from walking to the right, and it's not overwhelming. It's just the very basic stuff you need. Now let's head back to the farm. So from our house, what were to happen if we were to do the same thing, apply the same logic, and just walk straight south? Well, in most farms, you're just going to start going through wild brush, tons of debris. You'll hit a wall, you'll hit the river, maybe a cliff, any number of things, and you'll just be like, well, that was useless, and maybe retrace your steps. But here on the beach farm, you'll notice a completely debris-free path going all the way down the coast. So maybe a new player would be incentivized to just walk down it, see what they can find. If you're lucky, maybe you'll find, ooh, a forageable. Okay, forageables can be found on the ground. And if you're really lucky, you might come across a supply crate. This is the big difference maker. Look at the list of items you can find out of supply crates right off the bat. Every single one of these items can teach you something very important about the game. The mixed seeds. Oh, I don't have to go to the general store to get seeds. If I have no money, there's other ways to get crops. The quality retaining soil. Oh, there's ways to improve my crops as they're trying to grow in several different ways. Upon picking up your first geode, you get pointed towards the blacksmith. Okay, let's open the map. Oh, the blacksmith is right there. Okay, now I know where the blacksmith is. And while we try to open these geodes, we get tons of resources that maybe we didn't know about. You can get copper, you can get coal. So now you know, okay, these things will be needed for items in the future. You can even end up unlocking your furnace recipe way early because of this too. Getting the survival burgers could be your first time seeing any type of edible food at all. And upon eating it, it heavily refills that energy you've been struggling with for the last few days. Better yet, maybe you get a couple of coffees and you get introduced to the most addictive game mechanic speed boosts. Now you'll be jonesing for the next time you find anything that can give you another coffee. And last, cherry bombs. Now, you don't need me to tell you how diverse these are. If you've seen the No Energy playthrough, they can do just about everything. They can clear out your farm if there's just a lot of stuff in the way. If you're headed into the mines for the first time, which is super daunting for new players, it can make finding the next floor a lot easier. Clearing out your floors with bombs is so good compared to a pickaxe. And normally this wouldn't be an item that you're introduced to until you get a couple of levels in mining. Just simply knowing that these items exist give you so much knowledge about the game and kind of goals to work towards. But you know what? Say you're following the coast and you don't find a supply crate. What do you find instead? You will naturally be led to the path that heads to Cindersap Forest. And it comes out right next to one of the other most important stores in the game, which you can now get to by heading straight south from your farm. And you may say, well, you can do that on any farm. Have you tried heading back up through Cindersap Forest to your farm on like the regular or the wilderness farm? You have to trudge through tons of debris. If it's like 1 a.m. and you're about to pass out, you are not getting back to your farm. But the beach farm is built so that there's always a clean path that you can follow no matter what. No need to use any energy. You'll be able to find wherever you need to go on this farm. And this is true even if we do the full circuit around the farm. Normally you'd be going through rocks, sticks, trees, and this is day 19. I've slept through a couple of days. It's still very open, almost no debris to speak of on this entire way around the farm. This way you can get your bearings without having to blow through your entire energy bar for 5 days straight. Even leads you to Grandpa's Shrine. I haven't even had to cut a single fiber. I don't know, I just think that's so important, having an unimpeded path to important spots in the game that you need to know about. But let's circle back to that original point. You can't place sprinklers on the sand. Here's the thing, if you're truly a new player and you haven't searched things up ahead of time, you don't even know they're sprinklers. That's not even a downside to you yet. You're going to be planting seeds as if you need to water them every day. And you know, sometimes that can keep us humble. Way too many times I see someone bite off way more than they can chew and just be like, hey, I'm spending 5 times my energy every day just to water my crops. What am I doing wrong? Well, brother, it's too many crops. Knowing that you're not going to get sprinklers to shore up that weakness kind of prevents you from going too overboard with your crops early on, which I think that's a big problem with newer players. They just go too crazy with the crops. And again, that debris-free path also leads you straight up to the spot where you can actually use sprinklers, and in a manageable area nonetheless. Just keep it small until you can clear out these logs. So all of that being said, it is my assertion that the beach farm is actually the best farm for beginners. Ease of access to important spots on the map, easy access to some of the most important items in the game, and the only downside is something you don't even know is a downside yet. So it's been 2 years since I ran a poll where I asked everyone what their main farm was. And since it's been 2 years and we have a new farm, the Meadowlands farm, I thought it'd be interesting to do it again, just to see how things have shifted. So here's the results of the original poll, and now here's the new poll. I suppose we are nothing if not consistent. I will say Meadowlands Farm came in to eat everyone's lunch. Other than that, everything mostly stayed the same. Beach Farm's losing popularity. I did not expect that. And I did figure out, if we don't count the new Meadowlands farm, the beach farm still only has 4.2% of the vote, which is about 1% lower than last time. And I gotta say, like, looking at it, there's a pretty clear divide between what people consider challenge farms and the farms that people consider really powerful. And then there's the standard farm because it's the standard one. And again, I have to push this propaganda. I don't think beach farm is a challenge farm. I think it is more helpful than it is hurtful. It's prettier than the other farms. It's easier to navigate. You're all being manipulated by big standard and we need to get things back on track.